let's talk about how to get started in Ptolus with published adventure modules. This has been the most requested video by busy DMs and GMs that are trying to figure out how to get started in Ptolus when they don't have time to read everything and write all their own stuff. I'm going to guide you through the process that I followed and the published adventures that I used to do that. Now first, I'm going to have to split this up into a couple different videos. This video, I'm specifically going to talk about the adventure modules that are written as part of the core Ptolus book and Monte Cook Games' specifically published adventures that go with Ptolus. In some future videos, I want to talk about other adventure modules that plug in very well to the city of Ptolus, but maybe weren't specifically written for the city. First and foremost, this is going to sound counterintuitive, but what I recommend doing is jumping to part 7 of your Ptolus core book. This starts with chapter 31, which is campaign advice. This is a great place for you to start because it gives you an idea of the different ways that your players are going to interact with and play in the city. Whether they're going to stay on the surface of the city and just run around, maybe start a business, maybe join the city watch or whatever, but just stay on the surface. That's one thing that they can do. They can focus on a Spire campaign, which is where they try to discover the secrets of the Spire. They go into the published adventure module, the Banewarrens, which takes them beneath the Spire and then up inside. It could be a completely delving-based campaign where they're going under the surface of the city, maybe trying to rediscover Dwarven Hearth, the lost Dwarven city. Maybe going through the published adventure of Queen of Lies from Monte Cook, which is where you go after an entire group of drow houses that are beneath the city, and a ton of other ways that you can spend time beneath the city. And then there's even more from there. So this is a great place to start because you won't have to start reading about every single location and all the NPCs. It gives you kind of that high-level overview so you can start talking to your players about what do they think they're going to be the most interested in. Do they want to go below the city, above the city, in the Spire, just around the city, whatever. It's going to start that high-level thinking for you for maybe that session 0. Then chapter 32 talks about how to run urban campaigns. Because an urban campaign is usually very foreign and alien to DMs and GMs that have even been playing this game for a long time, very few of us have done campaigns where we spend almost our whole time in one city. And so the way the eccentricities and things that come with that in Ptolus, chapter 32 talks about. Subsequently, I've also made a couple videos that address some of those things as well. And then chapter 33 is where we jump into the published adventures that Monte Cook gave us to sink our teeth into Ptolus. I can't show everything with this because I don't want to violate copyright and waste Monte Cook stuff and make him mad. But let's jump to page 589. This is of the 3.5 version, so the page numbers might be a little different for you folks that have the brand new 5th edition book from the Kickstarter. This is the path that I personally took when I started our campaign. Monte Cook gives us these great things where it starts off with the Murderer's Trail, and then there's the side quest of Trouble with Goblins, Smuggler's Daughters, End of the Trail, The Missing Wafers, Shilikar's Lair, and then we get into the published Night of Dissolution. What happens here is if you start with these adventures, you can start with level 1 characters, and whatever you want to do there. If you start higher level, then maybe you can tweak these, but if you start with level 1 characters in the city, this is a great way to get started. The Murderer's Trail actually starts off with your players can be just wandering through the city in any way, and boom, you hook them. It pretty much needs to be good aligned players. An evil campaign probably won't care about somebody getting attacked, but that's up to you. What happens here is you meet an NPC, and then you start going down the line of meeting more and more NPCs, meeting the people that are important to this lady, and so on and so forth, right? This is a great way to get started because you can just say they walk into the city and then you could immediately do this if you wanted to. You don't have to read about anything else. This is a great way. This is, again, the same way that I started. I've mentioned in other videos where what my campaign did was we started with the Chapter 33 adventures. I read the beginnings of the Night of Dissolution and the beginnings of the Banewarrens adventure modules. We've already completed the Banewarrens. We're nearing the end, probably halfway through the Night of Dissolution. And so what I did was I started seeding these kind of things that were going on when I'm running the Chapter 33 adventures, and you don't have to read the whole adventure modules. Don't read the entire Night of Dissolution book. Don't read the entire Banewarrens books yet. Just read the beginning so you, again, get that high-level content so that you can start thinking about how you're going to introduce this stuff to your players. And then you can run one at a time if you're really linear focused like that, or if you're like me and you're ADD and completely sporadic where we have 15 plot lines going at the same time. Well, then what I did was I seeded all these things and started pulling them in different directions, and that also allowed my players to kind of chase the leads that they were the most interested in. Again, this doesn't take a ton of reading. This could be 20, 30, maybe 40 pages of content, and you don't read anything else in the book yet, right? You just read these adventures, and it starts to give you a picture of Ptolus, starts to give you some ideas of where to go with your characters. I mentioned Dwarven Hearth. That's one of the other things that you can go into. Then there's also the high-level stuff, which I'm going to save for another video, but I'll just mention Goth Gugumel, the Dark Reliquary, Jabal Shamar, and then again I mentioned that Queen of Lies. That's going to be a higher-level campaign. And then Monte Cook also wrote a high-level module called Black Rain. This is really cool, and I'm actually hoping to use this in my own campaign. But essentially, whenever the Black Rain comes, all magic stops working. It's really interesting. If you're curious about how Monte Cook did this and you have a little bit of time to read, go to ptol.us, jump into the Ptolus campaign journals, and then you will find all of Monte Cook's Ptolus campaign by Monte Cook. So this is a 44-part series where you can read his basically campaign journals of what he put his players through. So he ran 2 concurrent campaigns, and so one group did one thing, one group did another, and from time to time they joined together. The Queen of Lies was actually something that he ran his people through. He ran them through the Banewarrens. He ran them through the Night of Dissolution. So that's a lot of reading. That might be too much for you, but I found it very fascinating to see how the author of these materials ran his campaign. For Busy GM, like I said, start with Chapter 33, read over those adventures, get your teeth sunk into that, then start thinking about how to pull them into the Night of Dissolution and the Banewarrens while they're running through those adventures. So just the Chapter 33 adventures, Night of Dissolution and Banewarrens, will run you all over the city. They are going to meet dozens of NPCs, and many of those high-level, high-power, and very important NPCs, and you're going to be running into all these different locations. So this is a great way to get started. If you're super busy, super overwhelmed, just want to get your teeth sunk into, jump in here, and this is kind of the way that they designed it anyway. Again, I'm going to do some other videos that talk about different ways to start and different modules that'll plug into this, but this is exactly what I did. I started with the Murderer's Trail. We ran down this list. We then went into the Banewarrens and the Night of Dissolution kind of at the same time, and that's where we're still going, and we've been doing this since 2017. So just these 3 books, which all should have come when you bought the Ptolus book or back the Kickstarter, will give you years of fun game time. Again, I'm going to do another video talking about a little bit more and maybe tell you a little bit about my plans for longer term play, which hopefully my players won't pay any attention to. As always, if you have any questions, folks, please post those in the comments and let me know. If you want access, full DM access to the website, it's unofficial. I'm not associated with Monte Cook Games, but ptol.us, you can use this really cool interactive map, and then I have a ton of the book actually in this website that gives you the content in a mobile-friendly format, and you can also use the search up here to try and find something that you're looking for if you don't have that PDF handy. You have to prove that you own the book. Click on contact and you'll see how that works. Leave some comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if I covered what you were interested in. And obviously, let me know what else you want to hear about. I love this setting. I've been running it for a very long time, and I hope to keep running it for a very, very long time. So may the dice always be in your favor.